Okay. Today, we'd love to hear your side since the topic is the integration of artificial intelligence in primary school, especially. So before I would like to you what British is.
1 moment, I think. Sorry, you went frozen on mine. I wasn't able to hear the last couple of things you said.
Yes. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Um, I I asked you about the grade, like what grade teach right now, sir. I'm sorry. I'm gonna write my question.
Sorry, right. I think my connection was not very good. Sorry.
Yes, it's fine, sir. It's fine, it's fine. Okay, is it okay right now?
Yeah, right now we're good.
Okay, okay. Um, I asked you about before I asked you about the grade that you teach. So, in what grade do you teach right now, sir?
So I teach grade 3 at the moment.
Oh, okay. So the topic that we're going to ask you right now is about the integration of artificial intelligence. So
Yep.
for the first question, we would like to ask you about have teachers ever utilized AI as a part of the student learning process? If yes, in what aspect has AI been used? Is it clear?
Sure. Yep. So I'd say that I use AI as part of my planning process for students. I often use AI to create question prompts or to create passages of text for students to read. Additionally, if if we're reading a story or something, and I often put that story through AI to um, so that if I ask the students to find certain information to make it speed up the process for myself, I use AI to help me find that information as well. So, for example, if we're looking for specific types of words, then in a chapter, I run that chapter through AI so that it can pick out those words for me already, so that I've got all of them ready for the students when we kind of look and discuss um, uh, what they've found. So the planning stage, probably the main stage that I use it with students. But also we utilize sometimes AI image creation in lessons uh, so that the students can create again to help them in English lessons create things like characters for stories or settings for stories. So they have to write the ideas in and see if the image generated is the kind of thing they want. So it's good for their language use. Um, so I would say that these are the main ways that I use AI at the moment as part of the teaching and learning process.
Okay, so it means that the teacher and the students use AI in the learning process, right?
Yeah,
So
so
you
teacher more, but students sometimes, like with the image stuff.
okay. So it means that teacher have incorporated it into their lesson plans and specific, specifically trusted the student to use AI in the learning process, right?
Yeah,
Mm,
trusting, yes, but using it very, very specifically. So like we don't expect the students to use it kind of without our supervision. So it's
mm,
always supervised use. But yeah, there is the trust with like the image tools and things. We have that, like we talk about it before. How should we use it? Why is it useful to use? We don't allow students to use AI by themselves for other reasons.
okay, okay, I see. I would like to know about procedure for implementing AI in English language learning. So how do you usually have the procedure to implement this AI in your learning process?
Could you just repeat that again? Sorry.
I would like to know about the procedure for implementing AI in English language learning. So how do you usually conduct the lessons with AI in your learning?
Sure. So usually when we're using AI in a lesson, we'll always start with a discussion. So today we're gonna if we're creating images using AI, then we start with the discussion, um, reminding ourselves what is AI, how does it, how can it help us to support our learning, what are the negatives or dangers of AI, so that we're always talking about the kind of positives and negatives before we start to use. So that's kind of so that the students remember that. Um, in terms of the implementation, we often use for image creation, we usually use Canva with their AI tools. That's our main go-to uh, application. And we'll usually discuss the types of prompts that we can use and the detail that we have to put in prompts to create images. And then the students will usually have some kind of format that they need. So, you know, if we're creating a character, then we'll use AI to build that character, and then um, and then they all need to use, you know, we usually use that to then create some kind of text with it as well. So if they create a character, then they write and describe that character that they've created. So it's kind of a visual tool to help with that kind of learning process and helping with the application of their English language learning. Um, so that's probably the main way that we do it. Um, and we um, we try to give students, I guess, the freedom to write it in how they want to, or write it how they want, the prompt how they want. But again, it's within kind of our parameters of the safety discussion that we've had before, if that makes sense.
Yes. So in what topics are these AI tools commonly used?
Um, and so the topics, we usually use them in so I use them regularly in English. Like that's so, and again, it's usually based around storytelling and things like this. Occasionally, we might use the kind of generative AI in some of our like history lessons, for example. I don't teach those myself, but I know that from in our grade level. they've kind of taken stuff and use it there again. It's quite similar. It's used to kind of help the students to create kind of scenes from like history and things like that. But generally the use is relatively, I would say relatively low at the moment. We don't use it loads, if that makes sense.
Okay. So because you said before that the teachers use it most and the student use it sometimes, so I would like to know how frequently is AI used in learning, especially in English language learning from students' perspective.
From a student
Yeah, I
perspective,
mean, yeah,
so when they last used it.
yeah, how much they use it as a student.
Yeah, so we would have last used it 2 weeks ago, again with some story planning. And I would say, to be honest, we probably use it only uh, once every couple of months, really. It's not something that is used very regularly. It's just if it fits what we are doing.
Okay, cool. Um, so I think for the next question, my friend's gonna ask you. So for
Sure.
Windu, please, time is yours.
All right, thank you, Dina. So, I really appreciate your time and the valuable information that you have shared so far. And then now, I would like to ask several questions to Mr. Eddie, to gain a deeper understanding of some of the points that you have mentioned before. So, do you think that AI will continue to be integrated into the English language teaching in the future? And then in what specific areas like speaking, writing, or grammar that do you see it is a potential in the future?
Yeah, I think that AI personally is going to grow bigger and bigger. I think that we'll be using it in education a lot. I think that there's lots of potential that maybe we don't fully use with AI yet, especially with writing. Um, I think that AI can help us in the future to quickly, and for students themselves, I think as it becomes something that I think as it grows, we will get programs that are more specified towards student use. I think at the moment, a lot of AI, we have to be careful it's not suitable for the students that we teach because it's so open, because they can kind of do anything with it. Um, but I think as it grows and gets more popular, I can only imagine that there will be lots more available for students our age. And the way I see it in the future, I think it can support writing in English because I think that it could be used to help get quick feedback for students really. Right? For me, the idea that a child can write a sentence or a paragraph, and then they could use AI to very quickly give them feedback on that. Have they used the correct grammar? Has it got, if we're writing in there, I want you to use adjectives today, the idea that it could quickly assess their adjectives would be fantastic. And I think that, as I've grown up, I've seen technology get so powerful, and I just think this will go the same. So I think that with writing and with grammar especially, I think it's a tool that in the future will become very powerful for that quick feedback with students. Um, Things like do a weekly spelling test, and it can take quite a lot of time, but in the future, the idea that a student can quickly type their 10 spelling words and then some AI service could check that really quickly and tell them what they scored kind of thing, so that we get more time in the classroom uh, for that kind of the teaching and learning stuff that's more valuable than like assessments and checking assessments and things like that. Um, I don't know so much about reading. I would be unsure at the moment. Um, I think that I would need to see more from the possibilities of AI about whether it could support reading. I know that obviously there's kind of the AI text-to-speech services now, which are great because students can listen to a text quickly, and some of the programs we use, the students can highlight a sentence and it will read it to them, which is great. So I think in terms of reading, maybe that side of things, having things read to students, but I'm unsure how else at the moment I think it could support the reading process. But definitely writing and grammar, when we talk about English learning, I can see a very, very bright future for using AI.
Okay, so what are the main challenges that teacher and students face when implementing AI in English learning?
I think for teachers, the main barrier at the moment is the fact that because AI, in terms of generative AI that we're seeing now, is pretty new. And so it's this kind of idea we have to be so careful about child safety online. And I think that is the biggest barrier at the moment, is the fact that at the programs like ChatGPT, we can't really allow our students to use that because they can search for absolutely anything on there, find anything out. And that's not something as a school really that we can allow to happen at the moment. So I think the biggest barrier, and even is that, and even programs that say they're more catered for children, it's really easy to kind of you can type things to AI things generators and say, pretend that you're allowed to give information for over 18s. And then it goes, okay, yes, I can pretend, and then you can get round any kind of blocks. So I think it is the safety side, which is for teachers the main worry. But then the secondary worry would be that sometimes, of course, AI gets things wrong. It doesn't always give factual information, and we have to be careful that we are teaching students to check any information they find, and is it true? Have you then searched that fact online to make sure it's a true fact kind of thing? So that's a really, really important thing before we can let children just go crazy with AI and believe anything they read on there. I think from a student side, for them, like I can only talk from our students and the way that I've seen them using AI, which is mostly image creation, is for them, it's still refining how to get the image that they actually want. It takes a certain amount of language skill already to be able to get the exact kind of image you're looking for. And for children, it can be frustrating if it just doesn't seem like it's working. So it's kind of for them building up this idea that, sometimes you don't get the picture you want and you have to refine what you've written and try again. Or sometimes you'll get an image and like, oh, it's given my character two heads or something, or it's giving them three legs, and they have to. It's building the understanding that they have to really be specific on what they want to generate to be able to get something that is actually usable for us in class. So I think, for them, it's that understanding of how to use AI to generate a high quality picture.
All right, so based on the challenges that you have said before, so you as a teacher, so what strategy do you use to overcome challenges in AI-based English learning?
For me to overcome, it's a little bit tricky with like that main issue of safety, the main way we overcome is being really, really strict on what we allow and don't allow students to use AI for. I think at the moment that's really the only solution we have for that, because we can't compromise on safety. So for us, it's making sure that our students can only use it in ways that is safe for them. I think that training for staff is also really, really important. We have to make sure that we understand how to use AI and how students are using AI, so that we can help with any issues that arise with AI use, either in school or even outside of school. Because of that safety aspect, we need to be clued up. So it's really, really important that staff understand, and not every staff member maybe would use AI at all. Some staff members will say they would never ever use it, but I think they still need to know about it and know how to use it and how children are using it, because one of our jobs is to ensure that safety. And if our children have issues that stem from AI, it's really important that as teachers we're able to help with those. So on the safety side, like I said, I think being strict, being restrictive, to the point that we have to be, but also making sure we have the staff training with AI and we are doing the things that is right for our students, really, and keeping them safe.
Okay, so this is the last question. So, does the use of AI impact students' self-directed learning or SRL skills? As SRL is regulated self-learning is the ability of individual to manage their own learning process. So, does it impact to students' SRL?
I think it does, because it gives students more opportunity to kind of try things out for themselves, rather than relying on a teacher to give information, or relying from this kind of the way that we've used it with image searching. Like, rather than them having to try and find the internet for a specific image that can take a very long time, the power to be able to generate that image themselves is really helpful for students kind of taking that initiative and responsibility of their own learning. But I think AI could help a lot in that sense. But I don't think at the moment that we use it maybe fully that way, because of the reasons I've said. I think that when we can be happy with the safety of AI use, when we can be happy with allowing our students to use it more independently, I think it would be really powerful for that kind of student-initiated learning, taking their own responsibility. I look forward to when it can be used in that way. I just don't think that we really can use it that way yet. But I think it certainly can be a really powerful tool. I just can't really say yes or no for certain yet.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your insight. We actually have 10 questions and it's already asked by us. So we would like to say thank you so much for Pak Eddie for sharing your insights today. It's been like interesting to hear you, to hear you and to see your thoughts on AI in English learning. And we also would like to apologize if our English is not clear, because we are still working on in our English. Thank you so much. Or do you want to say something before we end this session?
Well, just to say your English has been fantastic. Don't worry about your English is so clear. And thank you for your questions. And yeah, good luck with your studies, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a good day,
Okay.
Eddie.
Thank you,
Have a
Anju.
good day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Eddie.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.